All right, so useState. It's the most important and the most fundamental hook you're gonna need when you're building your React app. It's a very easy to learn hook, but it's a hook that you'll use most of the time. So it helps us basically manage our state, and it helps React know when it should re-render stuff. So we're gonna be building a counter app today, and of course we need state for that. We need the state for our count. So we're gonna be importing useState here, importing useState, and now this is the convention for basically creating a useState hook. We're gonna have a first value that's gonna be counter, and we're gonna have the second value that's gonna be SetCounter, and we're gonna call the useState hook and give it initial value. Okay, so this first value here is the value that we're gonna read from, and this second value is a value that we're gonna use to update our state. And this number 10 here is the initial state. Okay, so this is read value, this is value to update, and this final value here, number 10, is the initial state. All right, so now we're gonna need to display our current count. How are we gonna do that? Well, we're gonna do that by putting it inside an h2 tag. So I'm gonna say counter, and when we go to our app, we see counter app, and we have the initial state here. All right, now in order for us to change our value, we need buttons, right? So when we click a button, we're gonna need to update, basically, for this example, increase our counter value. So we're gonna give it an on-click event, and we're gonna say counter plus 1. All right, so when we go down there, it's not working. Why is it not working? Well, it's because we need to use SetCounter here. SetCounter, it's this second value is going to be used to update this state. So we're going to say SetCounter, and we're going to give it a counter plus 1. So this means that when we click our button, increase button, this will fire, and we're going to be calling SetCounter to increase our current count. All right, so when we go to our app right now and we click on increase, it's working. Of course it's working. So we're going to do the same thing for our decrease. All right, so we're going to say counter minus 1, and we're going to give it a name of decrease. All right, so when we go to our app, increase is working, decrease is also working. And this is basically the most important thing you're going to need about useState. Most of the time you're going to be giving it an initial value, but you can also give it a function that returns something. So for example, we're going to say users set users, and we're going to give it useState, and for example we can call fetch something. All right, or you can give it a predetermined function that does something. So for example 5 plus 15. All right, and this will work. The initial state here will be 20. So you can use it like this. You can give it a concrete value, or you can give it a function that will return something. And one more thing about changing the state is that you can do it like this. Of course, you can also do it a different way, and this way is a bit more complicated that I won't get into this video, but just so you know, because you need to read up the React documentation on why this works and when it should be used. All right, it has to do with something when the state call is actually updated. So we can get our current counter, and we can increase it like this. You see, this is essentially the same thing, this button here and this button here, but we can access the current state with this here, current counter. This can be named anything. This can be named test, and this can be, it's not important, but this value here will give you the current value of the state. So for example, at the beginning it's going to be 10. When we click our button here, when we click this button, all right, this value, this button, this is going to be called, and we're going to get here number 10 10 plus 1, and that's 11. That's going to be returned, and our state is going to be updated. And really, that's all there is to useState. So now you know useState.